Today I set out to make myself some window propagation jars for my ever-growing plant collection. After finding and cleaning some suitable jars, I cut 2 pieces of twine a couple of inches longer than the length I wanted my jar to hang from. I then put the cut ends of the twine together and tied a knot at the other side. After this, I taped this knot to the bottom of my jar so it wouldn't move and positioned the loose strands along the side of the jar. After this, I began to tie a knot at approximately the same length on each of the loose strands. I wanted to add some color to my propagation jars, so I stole some of my younger sister's beads to place on each strand. After placing a bead on one of the strands, I would tie a knot to secure it in place, and then I repeated this on each of the strands. Then I tied 2 of the strands together and repeated this on the other side as well. During this process, I also made sure to check the length of each knot made, just to ensure they were even. I then repeated this step, though alternating the side I put the knot on as shown here. I then flipped the jar upright and again repeated this step 2 more times, making sure to check that the knots on each side were even and adding more beads as I did before. It can be a bit tedious, especially as I had to undo and retie a couple of the knots numerous times just to make sure they were even, but by doing this it ensures that the jar will hang evenly and won't tip to one side or the other. Once I was happy with how it looked, I tied the very end of the strands together so I could hang it. I also tried a method I saw on Pinterest, which I adapted by tying a shorter strand around the base just to secure the twine as my jar kept falling with just the original method. It involves this looping technique that I don't really show well here, so if you're interested in the specific method, I'll have it linked below. Once completed, I hung up the jars on the window by looping it over these locks, but if you have suction cups, those will probably work as well depending on the size of your jar. Once hung, I filled them both with water and added some fun-loving cuttings for my plants, and this is how they turned out.